Good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are, YouTube, internet world. Welcome back to the Ranting Monkey channel. I'm not nearly as positive as you hear in my voice right now, guys. I had a fucking shitty night. I really did. I did something really dumb. I ran out of my medicine. It's the same one I ran out of 5 or 6 months ago. And I didn't tell Lady Monkey about it because we had the new baby coming, and I didn't want to bother her. She's now yelled at me many times because, guys, it's been a rough fucking day. But that's going to translate well to what we're about to talk about, because nothing gets me rantier than stupid shit and pain, and boy, do we have a lot of it. This is an article that's been going around. I actually saw it last night. Jean-Pierre in our chat had linked it to us, and we just didn't get to it. It is an excellent article, and I've seen it all over Twitter today. So we're going to talk about it for just a moment. When I say just a moment, that means I have no fucking idea how long I'm going to be talking. It's going to depend on how much I can say about this article without just shooting myself in the face. Thank you, Michael. I need explanations. Do you mean about the title or what's wrong with me? November rain is putting me in pain. I get it, Logic. I do. I laid here so desperate for sleep last night, and it just did not come. God-tailed fucking moo. Ebony says, "Hi, Monkey. I missed the morning stream, so now I'm watching this." Well, the morning stream this morning wasn't a typical morning stream. It was just me ranting about the whole St. Jude situation, and it was just me, and I did it that way on purpose because I needed to get my fucking thoughts out about that, because that has pissed me off, and I'm still pissed off about it. But we're gonna go to something else because I don't want to fucking rant about that again. The title of this article, and it's linked in the description if you guys would like to read along. It comes to us from CNN, and it's an opinion piece. It's an opinion piece called, "What if women went on a sex strike?" Not strike. God damn it. Let me try this again. What if women went on a sex strike before the midterms? Dun, dun, dun. Sir Blue says, "Thanks, Monkey. You just reminded me to take my pills." Yes, don't forget pills. They are vitally fucking important in life, apparently. This says, editor's note. Wednesday Martin is a writer and cultural critic whose books include Untrue: Why Nearly Everything We Believe About Women, Lust, and Infidelity is Wrong, and How the New Science Can Set Us Free, Step Monsters, and Primates of Park Avenue. Her work has appeared in the New York Times and the Atlantic, among others. The views expressed here are solely hers. View more opinion articles on CNN, blah, blah, blah. We think she's good enough to put in here, but guys, we're disavowing what she says. Yeah. Fuck. Mr. Elmu2 says, "Yay, I got a Monkey stream to listen to while I work." Thank you, Monkey. You're welcome. You get a live one today. You can always listen to the others. If you ever want to watch a stream, say you just want to put something on in the background, I never take down my streams. What I do is I unlist them. They're still there, though. There's a playlist called the live streams, and it has all of the Lords of the Night as well as all of the Monkey in the Mornings that you can just go to and listen to any of them. But I like streams myself better if I get to participate live. If I'm watching a stream, one of my favorite things to do, for those of you who know me, is shit talk in chat. I have a lot of fun in there. And I just think it's a lot more fun to interact that way. But you can still watch them. I do watch several. I'll throw on a stream while I play a video game or something. Thank you, James Colley. Ha, at my weight and looks, women have been on a sex strike for years. Oh, that is, your life makes me sad. Yeah, when I read the title of this one, I went, no. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a movie, what was it called? Was it Chirac? I can't remember. It was about black women going on strike until black men stopped being so violent. So this isn't a new thing, women using pussy as a way to control their men. But the beginning of this article, I did not... Hey, Poppy, are your boobs doing it again? Guys, if she's timed you out, She got you, Lindsay. It's her boobs. Her boobs have a thing against people in chat, and I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Her titties time people out. I'm gonna have to take away her titty wrench. Poppy got angry titties. Get them things under control, lady. Tell your man to get in there and tickle him or something. Yeah, you got boob banned. She unhid you. Unfortunately, there's no way to get around that 5-minute timeout there, Lindsay. It was not on purpose. Believe me, we love you here, and that was not on purpose. Wow. Satsu says, "You bastard! Why? Because I'm streaming? You can come hang out, Satsu. I know you guys got the game stream. Satsu, I wasn't able to finish downloading 76, so I'm doing this instead. We need to. We're gonna have to do something to get Poppy's boobs under control. Poppy, will you just verify for me that it was your boobs again, not your dog or something? Because her cat did it to somebody the other day too. Her cat and her boobs, man. They are fascist. She got fascist titties. We talked about she got fascist titties. Anyway, Shiel says, "How do I have a bloody wrench?" Because it's you, bud. But it starts at 5. Oh, well, they can listen to me and watch what you guys are doing. That'll be fine. Satsu, did Ranting Monkey kill Kenny? I don't think I did. Anyway, let's get to this article because this fucking article is amazing. I snapped at attention the first time I heard the term service sex. I heard it in 2017 from a researcher at an annual sex researchers conference in Montreal. This expert was describing straight women who were distressed because they didn't feel desire for their husbands or long-term partners. Wanting to keep their men happy, these women often had sex anyway, with a resigned attitude and little thought to their own pleasure. My phone is in my bra. Yeah, see, that's what happens. She puts her phone in her bra and her titties just go nuts. They attack anything it sees. So have you thought about turning your phone around in there so that your nipples aren't getting the screen? You know, I was hoping to keep this one monetized, but fuck that all up, haven't I? Oh Jesus. The mirror. This is the part. This is the part when I read it, I was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Okay, listen to this part very closely. She says, "The mere existence of the term sex, the mere existence of the term service sex, suggests it's common enough to need a name. Just because something gave a name to something means it's common enough it needed that name." That makes no fucking sense. You can give anything a fucking name, and it has nothing to do with whether or not it's common. Some dude gave this that thing. These women are resigned to sex with little thought to their own pleasure. Well, why don't they go in there for some pleasure? You know, lick the fingertip, rub a little bit, you'll be fine. Throw a phone in your bra. Poppy's having more fun sex than these women that they're talking about in here. And she's just listening to my stream, which, by the way, is a great way to have good sex, is just to listen to the Ranting Monkey. Any woman who would use sex as leverage is a worthless cunt. Anyway, says Nuts. You're not wrong. But think about the fact that this appeared on CNN. This is one of the major news networks, right? And it's okay to come out there and suggest this. Poppy says today it was just me twitching. That's just her trying to pretend that she wasn't boob banning again. She's making excuses for them fash titties. She's nip right is what it is. That's what it is. She's out there trying to fascitize people. God. Several therapists I interviewed while researching Untrue, a book about female sexuality, told me that in their experience, it was common problems for couples, with women more likely to be the ones providing service with less than a smile. Yet many straight women in long-term relationships may think service sex is as natural as the air we breathe. Horny husbands and disinterested wives are a recurring, nearly inescapable trope in pop culture, and since Darwin, science is rife with studies about ardent males and reluctant females. I need to light my cigarette. God. I don't even know what to say about that. If you're in a long-term relationship where you expect your partner not to have sex with other people, male or female, you're probably gonna have to give it up now and then, because otherwise they're gonna go find it somewhere else, and you can't really blame them at that part. Jay Reynolds asked, "Did you see a fourth of Kavanaugh accusers have recanted?" Yeah, the Kavanaugh accusers are disappearing left and right. The only one who isn't is Ford, and she's kind of disappeared. She went to spend all her money because she made a shit ton, $800,000+ Shit, I'll accuse him for that amount. It's easy to argue service sex is just a fancy term for being a good wife or girlfriend. The problem with this belief is that it equates female goodness with sacrificing one's sexual pleasure for someone else's. No, especially if you're talking wife, somebody has made a vow: I will never fuck anybody but you. And if you stop fucking them, that's not really fair. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, if that's what you're going to do, if you're going to be like, look, I'm not even really interested in you sexually, then you either need to like break up or give them permission to go fuck someone else. Oh my God. Morning, Shroom. How you doing, bud? How's things down there in the aftermath of Michael? Have they got you guys water yet? I hope so. I know, guys, he was like right where Michael struck, and it's so good to see him. Me and Shroom actually argue quite a bit, and it's fun for me because he's a little bit of a jackass like I am. So we have fun arguments back and forth, and then he comes back and we have good talks about things we do agree with, and that's what I like about people who watch the show. I mean, if you think I'm wrong, tell me you think I'm wrong. We can have a little argument about it, and then just go back to being friends again. Just be like, hey, we had it out. Let's do it. Sorry, I got distracted by something on Twitter. I'm not going to open my Twitter again. Jesus, Twitter is bad. Twitter's bad. You know, it is weird though that Twitter right now seems to be the most open platform of all, and that is fucking scary. Shio says you're wrong, Monkey, about a great many things, but you have to be far more specific. Lindsay, I am so sorry that you got timed out there. I don't mean to laugh. I've accidentally done it to people before. Oh, sweet. Shroom says his water became drinkable yesterday. Good, dude. I know it's still a shit show down there, but water and power, at least you can, start getting back to life. Man, that's horrible. And I am glad that they're getting you back on track. Poor Lindsay. How's it going, Harbos? We're reading a story right now about what would happen if women withheld sex before the midterms. Now, so far, what she's told us in this story, for those of you just joining us, is that a lot of times women have sex with their men even though they don't want to. They just lay there and take one for the team. Picking back up where we are, plenty of us have sex once in a while to make our partners happy, but regular service sex is something else, an arguably destructive habit fostered by specific social conditions, a symptom of something that is amiss in not just our sex lives, but in our larger lives and the culture more generally. That was a lot of words there. Thank you, Jesse. Service sex reminds me of prostitutes. Yeah, that's basically what she's suggesting, is that these women turn themselves into prostitutes for their man, except for they don't get paid. But let's talk about this last paragraph here. But regular service sex is something else, an arguably destructive habit. Having sex with somebody that you promised or that promised to you they'd never fuck anybody else ever again, that's destructive. Fostered by specific social conditions, a symptom that something is amiss, not just in our sex lives, but in our larger lives and the culture more generally. If you're having sex out there and you don't want to be having sex, that's not a cultural problem. That's a you problem. That's a you and your partner problem. It's a really look. I mean, again, you're the one who made the promise, and you made a promise that you wouldn't sleep with anybody. They made a promise they wouldn't sleep with anybody. And at some point, if you guys aren't having sex, the person who still wants to is going to go find more. And then what? Then this bitch would probably write, "Fucking cheating men, fucking cheating men." Yeah, hang on, Dork. We'll get to, she still hasn't even gotten to withholding sex yet. Hang on. We haven't even gotten to that part yet. Right now, she's still just bitching about women who sometimes have sex when they don't want to, because of culture. I don't know. It's time for a revolution at the polls and in the bedroom. How did we get to the polls? It's time for a revolution at the polls and in the bedroom. All right, listen, let's see what the dummy's talking about. And in our understanding of who women are, sexually and otherwise. Sweetheart, you're a writer. You need to, that should have been a comma. Given the tight interweaving of economic and political power with sexual entitlement, female sexual autonomy has never been more urgent, and women's sexual pleasure has never been more political. Oh, that hurt my brain. Women's sexual pleasure has never been more political. The fuck are you talking about, bitch? Let's consider what it might mean to go on a sex strike of sorts to get what we want, rather than give what we think we owe others. All right, with what she's told us so far, she's talking about women who don't want to have sex anyway. But what you should do if you don't want to have sex is at least use it to get your man to vote how you want him to. Because apparently that's going to bring you sexual pleasure. Whoring yourself for votes. Because that's what you're talking about, bitch. Sex and status are linked. Where men have the tightest grip on resources and power, our society, including the women in their lives, will prioritize their pleasure and create false narratives about women or about what women deserve sexually and otherwise. To wit, in 2018, the number of female CEOs. How the fuck did we get to female CEOs? All right, we need to back up. We started with frigid bitches. Frigid bitches who still spit on it and give it to them now and then. From there, we moved on to taking that frigid bitch and using her pussy to get your man to vote in a certain way. And from there, with no segue, we're suddenly on the number of female CEOs of U.S. Fortune 500 companies. All right. Now I see why at the beginning of the CNN was like, we disavow this bitch. Because they get to show this stuff and say all this stupid shit gets to come out, and they get to go, yeah, we didn't say that. It was a crazy blonde bitch there who uses her pussy for political and CEO numbers. Jesus fuck. What the fuck? Okay, she said we need to go to the we or was it at the polls and in the bedroom? It's time for a sexual revolution. And apparently, in Fortune 500 companies. Anyway, to wit, in 2018, the number of female CEOs of U.S. Fortune 500 companies dropped 25% to 24 total among hundreds of men leading industry, tech, manufacturing, and other sectors. On a more workaday level, according to the U.S. bank data cited by the globaleconomy.com, the U.S. ranks an unimpressive 76th out of 180 companies worldwide for female labor force participation. I find that very hard to believe unless you're talking about women who are forced into sex slavery. I'm trying to read chat as I read this, but oh my God, this is, apparently sex is political, and not just political. Now it's economical too. Economic, and financial. It's financial as well, and not financial as in a whore out on the street being honest and taking money for her pussy. No. We got to use that pussy to get women into the boardroom. Oh God. You know, women, you could get there faster if you were just honest about it. Just be like, hey, you want some of this? I'll give you that. Um, Polydub, Jesus, I was listening to loud music, opened this tab and got monkey at 100 decibels. Ouch. Well, at least I got this nice soothing voice. Hopefully it wasn't when I was doing one of my obnoxious laughs. By the way, the little one, I was talking to her earlier and she started crying. She's not got used to grandpa's voice yet. And it made me sad. Oh, thank you for sharing my Streamlabs link there. Nuts. Guys, if you'd like to support the channel, there's several ways you can do it. You could share the stream, which, by the way, you should do because everybody should hear me talk. That's how I feel. And you might think that's conceited, but yeah, it is. You can also like the stream, which is very easy to do. There's a little like button right there at where you're watching. Just click that. And you can support the channel financially. There's a $sign at the bottom if you'd like to do super chat, or if you'd like to support me on Streamlabs. There's the link that Stargazer dropped. That link is also down below if the chat goes past there. Now let's get back to pussy for power and money. And you know, it's not, the funny part about this is that it's not new. It's really not. Women using sex to gain money and power is as old as time, but we've gotten to a point where you can't be honest about it. You have to lie like this bitch is doing. Apparently we need change at the polls, in the bedroom, and in the labor force participation. All of which can be done through vagina. American women, particularly women of color, continue to earn a fraction of the dollar that white men do. 63% or 63 cents for black women, 55 cents for native women, 54 cents for Latinas. Even worse, we are 104 out of 193 countries ranked for female political participation, beaten out by Namibia, Burundi, and Belarus, among others. What the fuck are you talking about? You are just throwing every fucking feminist talking point you can into this, and you haven't even gotten to your point yet. Excuse me. These numbers are astonishingly low when we consider that the U.S. is the world's largest economy. Those who can't lead or even earn on par must serve, and in America, in restaurants and businesses and in bed, it is the women who serve men. All right, Twat, since you brought up the wage gap, let's discuss it. The story, the article, the study that originally gave us the wage gap, the one that people won't fucking let go of, was horrifically flawed. What they did is they looked at the lifetime earnings of men versus the lifetime earnings of women, not paying any attention to the fact that men tend to work longer hours, work more years of their lives, take less vacations. Men just worked longer. And they just compared the base numbers. So like if a woman, we're just throwing out numbers here to make it easy to understand. If a woman, excuse me, if a man throughout his lifetime earned $100,000, then a woman would have only earned, depending on what dumbass you read, quote this shit, like 79,000. But that man might have worked 10 years longer than that woman. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat. You want women in politics? Run. Hell, even Cortez crazy ass made it. Yeah, exactly. Despite what this bitch said, women are the voting majority in the U.S. and they have been for a while. So it's not like there's if you don't like your politicians that are in power right now, you can literally blame women because they vote more than we do. And that's also why you don't see as many women politicians, because women don't like other women. So they're like, fuck that. I'm not voting for that. Scrappy, exactly. Amend the 19th. Let women have the right to vote. Just don't let the vote count, and things will go back to normal. And women can serve me in bed, according to this woman. Speaking of this, did you guys know today's National Sandwich Day? I don't know why this reminded me of that, but it did. A woman's sex strike against sex service, a refusal to do it out of a sense of obligation, would force us to confront these basic inequalities. Okay, stop. Okay. Do you guys remember what sex or service sex was? Service sex is a woman who doesn't want to have sex, having sex anyway because she feels obligated to do so for her man. You know, like because she doesn't want him to go fuck all of her friends who are willing to have sex with him. So she'll lay down there and let him put it in. And even though she might not enjoy it, she's still doing it. And according to this lady, if you stopped giving a guy bad sex, you can take care of the basic. You can solve the wage gap if you just stop fucking your man badly. This woman wrote this down and submitted it, and put this out into the world. Like, yes, this makes perfect sense to me. And somebody at CNN went, all right, it makes enough sense that as long as we say we don't necessarily agree with it, we can get away with putting it out there. Now, I really hope you're reading along. I hope you have the article up because you should see. When I was in school, they taught us that, when you write something, each paragraph should be linked. It should flow together. This is the sentence I just read you doesn't go with the rest of this at all. A woman's sex act against service sex, a refusal to do it out of a sense of obligation, would force us to confront these basic inequalities. Our current administration has amped up the notion that women are mere extensions of male will and pleasure, there to serve at every turn. What is the rollback of reproductive rights but an assertion that not only female reproduction, but female sexuality itself belongs to what science writer Natalie Angier calls the Greater Male Coalition? I want to know what kind of science that bitch works in. I bet it's social science. What are the president's insults to Stormy Daniels other than an assertion that the women who enjoy sex or profit from it in any way, emotionally, financially, or physically, is unnatural, immoral, and unattractive? In this world order, female sexual autonomy is not only dangerous and destabilizing, it is increasingly hard to imagine. And female pleasure is irrelevant, even pathological, if it exists at all. Good evening, Polly. Polly.
Hello.
There you are. How you doing tonight, man?
Tonight?
Yeah, it's 5:00 here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I'm doing all right. How are you?
I can't tell which hurts worse, my body or my brain now.
I thought after last night's rant, if you'll pardon the pun, ranting monkey, I thought you said you were going to be out for most of the day taking care of the new little one.
I did what I could. I am in so much pain I can barely even walk.
No.
I don't want to dwell on. Let's just say my plans got thwarted.
Fair enough.
By my own stupidity.
I did, however, right, because I'm listening to the stream and then I mute it before I join here. I did hear you slagging on social science again. Don't make me do it, monkey.
Let me say why.
All right.
I wasn't slagging on social sciences completely. It's just that the thing that this bitch had quoted here tells me that this is not a hard science writer. This is not somebody who's writing about astronomy or what's another good one? Mathematics. This is somebody.
How about anything falsifiable?
There you go. That's fair. She threw in that science writer and okay, now I got to look her up. Let me check this.
Oh yeah. Remember the last time we looked up that professor from Emory and what we found? Oh God. Everything was whiteness theories of whiteness power structure.
Wasn't that the little Asian guy?
No, he was black.
Oh, was he? Oh, so he was like Valerie Jarrett looking. Let's see. She's an American nonfiction writer.
I was going to type this all out, but hey, Lucky Pop Tart. Hey, Sarah. Stop calling me Pooley. Straight Sith Mail. You too. Stop calling me Pooley. There. That's all. All right.
I stand corrected. She's a biologist.
Is she?
All right, I was wrong, y'all. It happens.
Well,
And I apologize to the social sciences for my insult there, because y'all didn't deserve that one.
and I've in that conversation we had, like I said, this is why we should go up against the ideology, because it puts blinders on even the most clinical of people. Like it.
But come on, that's still. I mean, if you were betting on what,
no, I would have lost. I would have lost. Yeah.
Guys, like I've said this many times. Just a side note here. I think psychology could be wonderful for humanity. I think the problem with psychology is the people who are abusing it rather than psychology itself. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Oh no, it totally does. If you like, pop psychology is the fucking worst. Mm-hmm. But when you see what psychology has done for people suffering from schizophrenia, it's amazing. So
absolutely, absolutely,
yeah.
But so yeah, I do still take digs at him, and I was wrong in this case.
Well, how about the people that are logicians by trade, God, and are like the guy that Steven Crowder went after, that's been like online harassing Crowder and calling for violence towards him, and is a Black Lives Matter supporter, and the list goes on and on, a male feminist. And when Crowder shows up to confront him in his classroom, he's wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt at the front of his room, a white guy, I might add. And this guy's a logic instructor. Like, what the irony. But
the dude who just has absolutely lied about Crowder and what Crowder said. Yeah.
Did
you get to hear that last line? Female pleasure is irrelevant and even pathological if it exists at all. That's what the Trump administration has given us, according to this woman.
Hold on. Say that again. Female pleasure is irrelevant and even pathological
if it exists at all. Yes.
According to okay, what's the context for that?
Well, this woman is all over the place, dude.
All right. I remember, I the last thing I heard was you talking about how when I learned to write, the paragraphs were supposed to connect to one another, and I was like, oh God.
And she just writes a paragraph about whatever. None of it connects. It's just like, she's like, okay, I need to break here, and I need to break here because I've written too long at once. I'm gonna break here, sweetie. It's CNN. They're not gonna matter, or they're not gonna care. Trust me, we've seen it. But her paragraphs just don't go well together. That's Andrea Dworkin level dirt monkey. Yeah, you're not kidding, Prospero.
Actually, Prospero says something that's interesting, and I hadn't thought about that, but it's probably true. This is the frontier that the intersectionals are attacking, biology. I could see that.
True. Yes, it is. It is.
Because, there's no such thing as sex and so on and so forth. So if we can get some people that are officials and hold status within that field to agree with us. Yeah, I could. Yeah, that's frightening.
It is. And I actually saw Jimmy Kimmel. He's out there promoting somebody for Senate. I don't even remember, but he's standing there. He's with two women. Him and one of the women are wearing the so-and-so for Senate shirt. And then the person beside them is wearing a shirt that is basically accusing Republicans of ignoring science. And I hadn't even thought of it. Ben Shapiro really put this in my head. And was it Ben? No, it was Joe Rogan who put it. He was the one that I first heard say this, and I saw he was saying it to Ben. There's a whole lot of people that insist on science until it comes to biology, and then suddenly we throw it out. That seems to be an attack point. Let's get back to crazy bits real quick. Some women under the current administration may be fine with this paradigm, the one about the pleasure being irrelevant and pathological. But they are fundamentally yoked to male desires and agendas, never to exist outside or without them. This basic and deeply personal form of degradation, in which even women's desires aren't our own, both reinforces and reflects a hierarchy where men matter more. That was my thought when I first read this. That is literally what I do. I went, resetting the balance so women no longer provide service sex is not in itself a comprehensive answer to gender inequalities, of course. But making sex female-focused and female pleasure-centric would begin to force other shifts in thinking in important ways. When we cease to consider what women like and want as foreplay and reframe it as the main event, for example, we begin to challenge from the most intimate and private and emotionally powerful place, a long accepted, deeply believed, but nearly invisible worldview, and make an impossible to miss statement about who and what counts. Fuck, that is a long sentence.
I was just about to say that's like a Thomas Jefferson length sentence. Holy shit!
Fuck. Okay, let's unpack that because that's a big one.
Okay, you know what? I just got a little side note. You said challenge, like this proposition I'm putting forth challenges, and then you use the word unpack. I can't use either of those words in research proposals anymore because they've been so tainted for me that it's
understand.
and you just used it, monkey.
But I believe that this. What's a better way to say unpack? Let's dissect this because we need to break down what she said.
Prefer unfuck it.
Yeah, let's unfuck this because I don't know if we can unfuck. All right. When we cease to consider what women like and want as foreplay and reframe it as the main event, for example,
so that should read. Foreplay should be reconsidered as the main event, period. Okay.
Yes. What for those of you who are unfamiliar with foreplay, what she's saying is lick my pussy, that's all I'm there for.
Is that what she's saying, or is she saying trying to make female pleasure this centric thing, therefore foreplay, i.e. completely for the woman's pleasure, should be considered the main event?
Women, she might not understand this, and there might be people out there who don't. Some women like to be fucked. I mean, they actually like being banged really fucking hard. It's pleasurable for them. It might not be for her. Maybe she's got walls that you can't touch, even if you're like wiggling side to side. I don't know, but I understand women like foreplay. So do guys. Believe it or not, we love blowjobs.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And as we've discussed, both of us are not. We're both into going down ourselves on women.
Indeed.
So like foreplay in all sorts of directions. So I'm not really sure what she's talking about, but whatever.
Let's see. We begin to challenge from the most intimate and private and emotionally powerful place, a long accepted, deeply believed, but nearly invisible worldview. This is just garbage words that she threw in.
Okay, so she said it's a worldview that's deeply seated, and the worldview is what? That sex is not female sexual pleasure is not the main event. Is that what she's saying? Is not the
yes? Well, she's saying that if we make foreplay the main event, what she means by guys, she is not saying you should make blowjobs the main event. She's not saying tickling the nut should be the main event. No. She's talking about, tickling the vag in nice ways. She's saying if we make pleasuring the vagina the most important thing, then this almost invisible worldview will change.
That's deeply seated in an emotional place from here. Oh, Jesus. Anyway.
Yes. And there's still more to the sentence. And make an impossible to miss statement about who and what counts. An impossible to miss statement about who and what counts. What she's saying there is that if you tickle the vag and make that your main focus in sex, you will get rid of the patriarchy and make the women's all powerful. That's the basics. That's why we had to unpack it, and that's why you can't unfuck what she said there. I'm just saying.
This is. What kind of biology? Who is this?
Well, no, she just quoted a biologist. This is she is a sex writer. Well, she's a writer and cultural critic.
Oh God! Whenever I hear culture critic or pop culture critic, like that's what Anita Sarkeesian calls herself, for example. It's like, so you're a non-producer.
Yes.
Yeah.
She runs around and talks about how the men's don't like to please the women's.
Can you link that in side chat?
Sure. It's actually in the link down below, but I can.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll grab it from there then.
We're not done, guys. She's about to go.
This is CNN.
Yes, it is. It's an opinion piece that they put up. All right, you ready for this next part?
I'm strapped.
And by the way, this is still the same paragraph from what we just read. Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, I came in late. This is about the midterms?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't expect that turn. I thought this was about
this isn't. Okay, this isn't just about sex and women's power. This is specifically about withholding sex to get men to vote how you want them to. Kyler says Satsu just went live playing Fallout 76. Do you still have to download it? Yes, I do. I didn't even turn on the download last night because by the time I remembered I needed to, I was in bed and not getting up. So, yeah, I still have quite a ways to go to finish downloading that. Okay, you ready for this next part? Okay, now what we had so far is rebalancing or resetting the balance to women and making it all about the foreplay. You ready for this next sentence in the same fucking paragraph?
Mm-hmm.
In the ancient Greek comedy by Aristophanes, the character how do you say it? Lystra?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Let's
urges women.
Let's go with Lystara. Yeah, that's
urges women to go on a sex strike to get men on both sides to end the Peloponnesian War. In our case, a sex strike against service sex can be a powerful statement that female desire, a metric of agency like women's votes, will be heard. We need to back up, okay? She told us what sex service was early on. Sex service is women who they don't feel desire for their husbands. They don't feel desire for them. It's not that their husbands aren't going down on them or anything. They just don't feel desire for them. But if their husbands just started licking that pussy, then women's votes would matter more. I'm going to let that hang in the air for a little bit longer.
I want to respond, but I ain't got nothing. So I just
thank you, Pumpkin Trucker. This is the same CNN that says you should let some other dude aardvark your wife. I'm not familiar with that, but probably. This is, I mean, it's CNN. Dorky, I know you're chopping at the bit for this one. Chomping at the bit. We'll bring in after we're done reading the article because I want to get the whole thing out and then we'll do full opinions here. So, guys, if you want women's vote to count, you need to make sure you are licking that puss good. And remember, that's the main event. Your PP does not matter. Meanwhile, surprising newer science, much of it done by female researchers. I'm shocked. Field scientists and other experts is telling us what women want and need. In a radical upending of long-held stereotypes, I think of as the Great Correction, they have discovered that when measured correctly, the female libido is as strong as the male. Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Excuse me. They have learned that the over-familiarity with a spouse and the institutionalization of the relationship that accompanies companionate, that's a fucking word? Okay. Domestically actually dampen female desires in ways they don't male desires. So that libido is just as strong, but it's easier to dampen. I wonder what you mean by strong. Suggesting long-term monogamous relationships may actually be harder for women than for men. What the fuck does this have to do with Polly?
Yeah, I've been reading up on Natalie Angler.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, not Angler. Angier, rather.
Yeah, she's the biologist at this bitch.
She's not a biologist.
What? What is she?
She did 2 years at the University of Michigan and then went to Bernard College where she studied physics and English. She's a writer. She's a journalist.
Is that you looked up Natalie?
Yeah, Natalie.
Isn't she the one that this bitch had
Yeah, she quoted from her book, and I looked at the book, and the book is Woman. Woman remains an essential guide to everything from organs to orgasms and hormones to hysterectomies. With her characteristic clarity, insight, and sheer exuberance of language, bestselling author Natalie Anger cuts through the still prevalent myths and misinformation surrounding the female body. She's a journalist, dude. She's a quote science writer for the New York Times.
All right.
She's a beat reporter, and her beat just happens to be sciencey issues because she talks whammon.
We're almost done here, guys. We're almost done. I do like that the female libido is as strong as men, but you can beat it down just by putting that bitch in a house.
Don't remember when we were talking, like, I don't know, what was it, 2 days ago? I don't remember, about like signs of fear about the way the election's going to go.
Oh yeah,
this screams we're worried. Like, women, you've got a few days to deny sex to your husband if they're thinking about not voting the way they should. Like, I'm guessing. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I'm about to have another bullshit moment. It is women, not just men, and women perhaps even more than men, who pine for sexual adventure. Without it, many of us find our libidos wither, and then we may resign ourselves to serving what we think others deserve rather than feeling entitled to get ours and get off.
And so we should vote Democrat because that's servicing other people in an altruistic way instead of our own selfish conservative desires?
Well, if these men with the less strong libidos who still want to have sex would just lick the puss, these girls would change society invisibly, and everything would be okay at the polls. That's what I'm getting so far.
Okay.
Guys, this is our last paragraph, and holy fucking shit. See, this is why I did this one on its own separate thing rather than Lords tonight, because I don't think there's enough time. There's just not enough time here. Women don't owe men a thing. If anything, the statistics show we are owed. You entitled twat.
Yeah.
It is time to make sex and sexual pleasure female-centric. Each couple, each woman will have to find out what female sexual adventure and pleasure means for them. But the idea of a sexual strike suggests exciting possibilities beyond the bedroom. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. That last part lost me.
Okay. Now, we have to back up again, guys, because you have to remember that her idea for this sex strike comes from a Greek comedy. Now, we're not talking about, somebody that's Greek just wrote this. This was written by Aristophanes. When was Aristophanes around?
I'm going to guess 500 BC. Let's find out.
You got that fancy university internet. You should have been able to find this before me. Let's see, 427 BC to 386 BC.
Oh, I was close.
You were. So her exciting possibilities of a sex strike come from a comedy, not a real thing. Somebody making, writing comedy. What 2,500 years ago? 2,600 years ago?
Right.
But guys, exciting possibilities. Jesus fuck. But the idea of a sex strike suggests exciting possibilities beyond the bedroom. What would not just sex, but the world look like if we prioritize what women want in every sex act?
Okay,
I give up.
I'm reaching for things to slam on my desk. Look, what's frustrating about this is the entire argument that she's putting forward, or entire idea, I'm not going to call it an argument, the entire quote unquote foggy brained idea that she's got here is somehow sex relates to the way the world runs, which it sort of does in terms of procreation and a lot of our activity. But she's like connecting it to like, if only these things with sex would change, then all of a sudden women would get what they want and voting a lot more. You know who else understands who Aristophanes is and might have read them? College graduated women. And
You think?
college graduated white women, 35% of them voted for Trump. So there's a major flaw in your fucking plan. I mean, this entire argument in my mind is predicated on this idea that the whammons all vote one way, but they don't.
Well, it's not just that. It's that everybody would vote how the whammons wanted us to, if only we became their sexual slaves, like she thinks women are to men.
And we are here says gynocentrism, and Prosper said earlier the amount of self-importance in this article. Yeah, this all speaks to an extreme amount of self-importance and major chip on the shoulder syndrome.
Yeah, she flat out says it. The statistics show we are owed.
Yeah,
no, they don't. Okay, we got like 3 more sentences. Let's bang this shit out real quick. No foreplay here. I
was in mid vape. Nice, thanks.
Sorry, it burns a little bit, doesn't it? Let's see. Oh no, we just have one sentence left. How might the political, social, and sexual landscapes all shift if we acknowledge that in many cases the server is unsatisfied and actually believed it was important to set things right? Holy shit!
The server.
Yeah, remember service sex.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. If we, I want to remind you, these are women who are not sexually attracted to their men anymore at all. It's not because they're not being rubbed right. They just are not. Maybe he put on some weight. Maybe maybe she actually needs to go see a doctor and get her hormones fixed. That's a possibility, bitch.
I lost track now that you reminded me. Yeah, this was about the sex service industry. I had forgotten.
not the industry, just sex service. A woman who has made a wife who's told her husband, look, you can't fuck anybody else. So occasionally she tosses him one.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I misunderstood that. Jesus, that's a terrible way of describing. That's like MGTOWs with their my resources reasoning. It's just
yes. Yeah,
sex is not a product or a piece of produce that you trade with a given value.
Polly, did you hear? I want to make sure you heard this sentence because this is one of my favorite things I think I've ever read. It's the second sentence I'm going to read here. Wanting to keep their men happy, these women often had sex anyway, with a resigned attitude and little thought to their own pleasure. The mere existence of the term service sex suggests it's common enough to need a name. Just because somebody gave it a name, it's common enough to need one.
And who trades in this term? I'm willing to bet it's individuals that are like-minded with her.
Well, she went to a research conference thing in Montreal back in 2017, and she heard an expert describe it that way. She doesn't tell us what expert or what they're an expert in. Let's see. There is a link here to the sex researchers conference thing. Does she actually? Oh no, it doesn't. It doesn't tell us who is talking or anything. So yeah, but she heard this person use that, and obviously, since they use that term, it's common enough that it actually needed that.
I snapped to attention the first time I heard the term service sex. You mean the chip on your shoulder had its spidey sense tingling for a new way to embitter yourself.
Let me ask you this, Polly.
Mm-hmm.
If you gave a woman an orgasm, and I know we're not supposed to say it that way, it's your orgasm. I remember that story. Let's say you had sex with a woman and she had an orgasm. How's that?
Okay.
Is that going to change the way you vote?
If I gave a woman an orgasm, would it change the way that I'm going to vote?
Yes.
If I had a good meal, would I drive a different car? I'm misunderstanding the connection here.
Well, so am I, but that's what this bitch is telling us, is that literally, if we just, I do think the world would be a different place if women had more orgasms. I think that the world would be a better place if everybody had more orgasms. Do I think that's actually going to change how people vote and stuff? No, I just think it would relax people some, because that's what
reading the description of this conference is kind of.
You know,
worrying. They're devoted to the understanding and treating of sexual disorders within cultural contexts, such as sexual dysfunction, gender and sexual orientation, and identity challenges and paraphilias. It's
you
like,
think that's problematic?
Yeah.
I just like using that word now and then.
You just like pretending you're from the Wall Street Journal.
I do indeed. It's so problematic. Don't get me started on that shit again.
Yeah, I was just about to say, whoa, what am I doing? I'm stoking the fire. Let the sleeping dog lie. It's
let's get a woman's opinion on this. Dorky, you still ready to come on? Where you at, sweetie? I just want to make sure the last link I had is the one from the Hangout. I can't tell you guys how many times I've gone to invite somebody on a stream and just sent them an article I've been reading. I've actually sent people my my Streamlab links. Like, whoop, that's not what I meant to do.
When I'm setting up my own stream, I keep because I'll cut and paste the name of the stream to paste it into Creator Studio, and I'll end up sending it to Jack and Inquisitor, thinking it's the link, and they're like, "Where's the link?" And I'm like, "I sent it to you, fuckers." It's like, no, you sent us the name of the stream. Oh.
Don't forget, guys, you can support this stream here before the Wall Street Journal finds me through the Streamlabs link or the donation button down below. And I thank everybody for coming out and hanging with us and for your interactions and donations. But I just like I need to get this shit off my chest sometimes, and that's why we do this. And that's why I bring Polly, because Polly actually kind of grounds me, because he's willing to argue with me.
I wasn't last night.
Oh, yeah.
I was scared of Monkey last night. He was scaring us.
I was hot. Hello, Dork. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
My brain hurts now.
What the fuck did you just read?
I just read, what if women went on a sex strike before the midterms?
I know, but none of it made any fucking sense.
That's as much as I can explain.
This fucking bitch, though. First of all, she needs to stop going with these fucking soy boy feminist men that, like, obviously she's never come in her fucking life. Like, obviously she has all these guys that don't know what the fuck they're doing. And,
or don't care. Guys, from the way she describes it, they don't care about her orgasm, or at least she thinks enough of these men out there don't care.
Well, that's what you get with male feminists. They are chauvinist pigs most of the time. But,
they're just happy somebody touched their pee-pee.
Yeah. Well, that's why they're male feminists, so they can get a fucking root, right? But, like, she honestly thinks that if she withholds sex, she can get a man voting a different way. You know, they can, like, vote however the fuck they want and just say they voted the way the chick wanted.
Good point.
Exactly. That is an excellent point. Here's the thing, guys. If a woman tries this with you, excuse me, I've been talking so much lately. Jesus. I might have to calm down a little bit. If a woman said, look, if you want this, you have to vote how I tell you to. Tell her you're gonna. And then go vote however the fuck you want.
Yeah, this is does this dress make my butt look big type situation? No,
sweetie.
No. Well, if you're with a chick that
makes
says
your butt look big. What?
If you're with a chick that says, if you don't vote how I want you to, if you don't do what I want you to, you're not having sex with me. And the men should go, fine, fuck off then. I don't want to have sex with you anyway, you fucking foul pig. And then find a good woman that actually lets you think how you want to think. Like this chick, oh my god, it's quite obvious. Like most of these chicks, they complain about service sex. Like they want to be treated like a prostitute. They want to be thrown around for sure. They have no idea what they want. They want a decent man.
I've never met a woman who didn't want to be at least degraded a little bit in bed. And I'm sure there's a couple of them out there. But this is what bothers me about this is she doesn't even actually suggest that you should say, look, vote how I want, or I'm not giving you pussy. What she says is, just stop giving it to them, and they will vote how you want them to because of psychic powers.
Oh my god.
I mean, did you guys catch that? She doesn't actually ever say, tell them how to vote. Just that if you withhold sex, they'll start voting that way anyway.
She wrote a book in 2018, Wednesday Martin, that's the author of this piece, called Untrue: Why Nearly Everything We Believe About Women, Lust, and Infidelity is Wrong, and How the New Science Can Set Us Free.
Yes.
So she honestly thinks that pussy has that much power.
Yes. To change
Only
society
the male,
without even speaking.
Only the male feminists would put that pussy on a pedestal like that. Holy shit. Like, you're not going to get, like, decent men who think properly putting a pussy on a pedestal like that. It's not going to do anything.
This woman has a PhD?
What? You're kidding me.
What is her PhD in? Where's that at?
The chick that can't even write a sentence properly has a PhD.
Comparative literature and cultural studies from Yale.
Oh, man. She grew up in Grand Rapids. Oh, she probably got some of that dirty water before they cleaned it. She probably lived in one of those houses with the lead paint.
But this is, it's a self-authored wiki page. That's what I'm looking at right now. It's,
you think?
Well, yeah, you could just tell when it's written like a,
Her doctoral work examined early psychoanalysis and anthropology. Okay. And there's links to that. There's links telling us what that's about. Oh, that's her Primates of Fifth Avenue. Apparently, she mentioned it in her book. All right. Good for you, sweetie. Look, I'm not denigrating the amount of work you put into school. I'm sure you did, but you came out a moron.
Well, that's universities. That's universities nowadays. They like to keep you stupid and like to push their ideals onto you. Like, that's why.
Can I say something that's rather judgmental and mean when I don't know this woman at all?
Of course, you're on Black's channel.
Just her husband is a high finance guy.
She has a husband?
Yes, Joel Moser.
Oh my god.
He's a quite successful high finance guy, and she has a PhD herself, and not being able to, and she's like a mother, right, of 3 kids, including 1 stepchild, as I understand it. She then filled her time writing about the lives of stepmothers, the lives of women, the lives, because she's unable to do any substantive research. Sorry for anybody who does that kind of research. It's like inside the life of an Upper East Side housewives. Moms serve wine at 11 a.m. play dates, hire food trainers for fussy children, and make sure they will all be pregnant at the same time. This is a Daily Mail article about Wednesday.
Oh my god, she's one of those chicks. Holy shit.
It's like, here's the main points of this article. Wednesday moved to the Upper East in 2004. So in other words, like a multi-million-dollar home, because that's all that's there.
Indeed.
Used her experience as a researcher, meaning tried to make some use of her doctorate, to document lives of women there. So you did the Real Housewives of the Upper East Side. Got it.
Well, no, she has a book that she named Primates of Park Avenue. That's what that is.
Yeah. Children used to compete with coaches managing all parts of their lives. Therapists train children how to play and do their homework. Meanwhile, mothers use wine and cannabis to deal with their stress. So it's like, this is the Real Housewives of the Upper East Side. Like done like from her doctoral perspective through that lens. It's didn't really set the world on fire, did you, honey? Sorry, that was really mean, but just wow.
Dork, have you ever had sex when you didn't really want to?
Well, yeah, like sometimes I don't want to have sex because I'm in pain, but if I go so long without sex, I have to please my husband somehow. Like, I'd feel bad for him if he's like constantly without sex. So, I give him some to keep him happy. Like, what's wrong with that?
You're part of the problem.
Oh, didn't.
Bad girl.
I'm sorry. I like to keep my man
happy.
Time.
Tell him to spank you next time because you're being bad.
That sounds like fun.
There's God, especially when you're talking about the husband-wife dynamic. Sorry, sometimes you have sex when you don't really want to. Now, I've never had sex when I didn't really want to because I've always wanted sex, but there have been times it's like, man, I fucking hurt.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
But
that's
we'll do it anyway.
yeah, that's a point I wanted to make. She was saying that women actually want sex more than men do, and we have high libidos. That's complete bullshit because men are happy to have sex any time of day or night, whereas women go weeks without wanting sex.
You know, this is something I blame on male feminists. I do believe there's men out there who wouldn't fuck anything that moved. If I wasn't married, I would probably have so many STDs right now. It would be sad.
Jesus.
Well, I won't lie. When I see guys like, I would never fuck her, like, I don't believe you. I believe if it was in a dark alley and she gave you that warm, wet spot, you'd be like, you're gonna tell my friends, right? Are all guys like that? Maybe not, but I do think there's more guys like that than women who are willing to be that hole standing in a dark alley.
I don't know. I find certain things attractive and not. I mean, I find trashy girls not very attractive. It's not a turn on. It
depends on how trashy.
Yeah, I mean, there's meth head prostitute trashy, and then there's like drunk at the bar, scantily clad trashy. I hear you. There's differences, but
I have two things to say about that. First of all, these men that we're talking about, it's called having too much soy growing up. Okay, so much soy that their dicks get smaller and they start growing moobs. Okay, too much soy altogether. And these women, oh my God. So these women are called mopeds, right? You'd have fun riding one, but you don't want your friends to see. You don't want your friends to know you ride a moped, but it's fun every now and then.
Mopeds are fun. I hear you. And I get the point. Yeah, it's a good analogy.
It's actually an old joke from the 80s, and I fucking love that joke. Yeah,
I've never heard that before. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't want my friends to see me ride it, but I want one. You know,
I'd ride it. You just want your friends to see. I think a lot of guys that I see these days over exaggerate how virtuous they are, and I base this on my own libido, so it is a little bit. It's empirical, and maybe it's not completely fair, but when you start talking about the women libido and how it's stronger than men, this has been a female talking point, feminist talking point. Sorry, females. I didn't mean to insult you guys. A feminist talking point for quite a while that women want sex as much as men. You know, there are some women who do. There are some women with a very strong libido.
And those women work in whorehouses.
No, my friend's ex-wife, she was like that. She wanted to Squishy, go watch Satsu. This woman wants him all the time, which is great for him, but that is not the norm. And men are we are biologically driven to spread our seed, and that's not a bad thing. And it is a good thing that we've civilized ourselves to where we're not just out there sticking it in everything. But when you're coming to the underlying part of it, when you're coming to talking about whether or not men want it more, and in their own fucking article, women's libido is just as strong, but it gets beaten down like that, motherfucker. If you don't lick that push just right, it dies.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that particular point about the biological need to spread the seed. But before we get into that, Monkey, I have a gift for you.
Uh-oh.
And don't worry, I won't wrap it because I know you hate that.
I do.
Massive Dynamics was nice enough to send a copy to both of us of this article on Twitter. And thank you, Massive, because this sounds like it's going to be fun. From your beloved New York Post, Monkey, Upper East Side housewives tell-all book is full of lies. You ready for this?
Yeah.
In response to this story, publisher Simon & Schuster said Sunday they would add a disclaimer to the book.
Oh, is this from her?
Yeah, this is Wednesday's book that it's full of lies. Nice. Okay, and this is in the New York Post. In response to the story, publisher Simon & Schuster said Sunday they would add a disclaimer to the book. That's great. It's the book everyone on the Upper East Side is talking about, but Primates of Park Avenue, an expose of moneyed mommies of Manhattan. Is it really true? A Post review of the bestseller found holes big enough to drive an Escalade through. Author Wednesday Martin, whose real name is Wendy.
Come on, Wendy.
There's our first piece of evidence that was a self-authored wiki page, because it would have said that otherwise, right? Claims in the memoir to have spent 6 years, quote, doing field work with her 2 kids on the Upper East Side, conducting an armchair anthropological study. But Martin only lived there for 3 years with 1 kid and mentioned stores and services that don't exist, calling into questions the scenes of behavior she described. Quote, Primates includes eyebrow-raising anecdotes, such as the claim that some of the women receive yearly wife bonuses. After readers expressed doubt, Martin backpedaled, telling New York Magazine, quote, I don't necessarily think it's a trend or widespread. It was just one of many strange seeming cultural practices that some women told me about. So not even something she witnessed.
They did.
Yeah. Although the book includes includes no such disclaimer as is advertised as a, quote, memoir, Martin told the Post that she, quote, telescoped certain parts of the narrative. She tell us that's beautiful wordcraft. Well done, honey.
Okay, keep reading. I'm going to find, because this was CNN, right? I know they tweeted this out. I'm gonna find that and tweet this to them in response to their original thing. Keep going. Keep
nice, reading. Good call, honey. Telescoped certain parts of the narrative in order to protect the privacy of friends, neighbors, associates, and family. That, quote, telescoping seems to have moved events that happened in different neighborhoods and put them on the Upper East Side. In the book, Martin says she and her husband moved from the West Village for her toddler son. She describes being forced to undergo an unusual interview to purchase her Park Avenue abode. The co-op board, she said, held the interrogation in her bedroom, where she was confined because of a difficult pregnancy. She wears a strand of pearls while propped up on the bed. The board members gathered around her. It's an amusing scene, except while property records show she and her husband bought an apartment at the 900 Park Avenue location in January of 2004. She does not appear to have been pregnant at the time. Martin's first son was born in 2001, and her second son was born in 2007, the year she moved from the Upper East Side to the Upper West Side. Throughout the book, she claims to have been raising 2 boys on the Upper East Side. There is her supposed entree into the world of play dates and tutors. Martin says she was shunned by the, quote, mean girl moms who looked down on her as an outsider. Still, Martin says, she eventually goes native and buys into the culture, becoming a full-fledged participant in the privileged Upper East Side daily life. She says she has attended grueling exercise classes at Physique 57 to lose her baby weight after her second son's birth, but the upscale gym did not exist when she claimed to have exercised there. She also describes a posh party where the guests bring the hostess gifts from an upscale macaroon shop, but Lauderdale didn't open in New York until 2011, 4 years after she had moved. So she just did she just did retroactive research, like, okay, here's this place, I'm going to place it there at this time, assuming it had been there. Well, at a lunch date just prior to the party, Martin and a friend doing an accounting of how much their overprivileged peers spend on personal grooming, clothing, and transportation. Her friend refers to Uber, even though the car service didn't debut in the city until 2011. The eldest son attends the, quote, fanciest nursery school in the Upper East Side, a thinly veiled reference to the 92nd Street Y preschool. Martin describes feeling euphoric that he got accepted to a, quote, good school. But while Martin needles the overprivileged parents, records show that her husband sued the Y in 2013, saying their younger son fell off the monkey bars at the school in March of 2012 and suffered severe and permanent injuries. Martin's Instagram feed has numerous photos of the boy on a kayak, swimming, playing, sliding down a carnival slide, and jumping off of a lifeguard tower in the Hamptons.
Oh my God.
That's how he injured himself, actually.
Jesus fucking Christ.
The suit, which does not specify damages, is ongoing, blames the Y for failing to supervise the child and failing to catch him before he hit the ground.
Jesus Christ.
Why didn't you guys catch him in the
Seriously?
Hamptons?
Public records show that Martin and her husband Joel Moser sold their Park Avenue pad at $1 million profit. Not in total, in profit.
Profit.
In June 07, only 3.5 years after arriving, not 6. They moved to a $3.7 million co-op apartment on the Upper West Side. Moving on up, this girl. Martin is actually pregnant during the house hunt. Her younger boy was born a few months after the move. In her muddled narrative, Martin writes, while living on the Upper East Side, she claims to have been pregnant at 43 with her third child. She confides she briefly considered aborting the pregnancy, only to go forward and miscarry after her 6th month. Oh, right.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So here it is. This is the end of it. In the book's emotional climax, Martin describes how the mean girls she once thought were, quote, bitchy and off-putting, rallied around her for support and comfort. Did this outpouring ever even actually happen? At the time, Martin had already been living across town, far from the women that she derided on the Upper East Side. Asked specifically about the timing of the miscarriage, Martin replied, quote, I am not going to answer questions about my health, reproductive health, or choices, children, or private meetings. She added, quote, since the book is organized by topic, example, real estate, social hierarchies, exercise, it is not always a straightforward chronology. Simon & Schuster, which published the book, declined to comment.
I bet.
So, she's a lying bitch who made up a bunch of salacious stuff. Like, there.
But
sorry for dropping the B word, but come on now.
Now she thinks her people like puss more.
Yeah, sorry for the extended narrative there, guys, but like, just it should bring a new light to everything that Monkey was reading out of that CNN article. It's like, you're just all over the place, lady. And your popularity in terms of this salacious upper class book of here's what the rich white women be doing is full of shit, largely made up. You're lying about yourself. I mean,
well, that's to be expected. I mean, men, you know what? Maybe if her man went down on her more, she wouldn't have to lie. Maybe that's how the world would change.
Maybe her man does go down on her, but he has no idea what the fuck he's doing, so they don't get anywhere with it.
Actually, sorry, Monkey. Go ahead.
That's a possibility. Go ahead.
Blind Press said, of course, her name is Wendy. I bet she's frumpy as fuck. Blind.
She's actually not.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't know, but she, if anything, she looks like overly made up and overly surgicalized and like, you know.
I can't find the original tweet from CNN. I'm wondering if they pulled it down. I am sorry to do this, guys, because I am enjoying the conversation, but I got a text. How long ago was that? Hang on. 14 minutes ago telling me that dinner would be ready in about 30 minutes. So I have to wrap this up.
Alrighty.
No worries.
Polly, anything to promote?
Just my channel. We have new stuff coming up. We had to reschedule Weibo because she got a migraine yesterday. We were going to have her on to discuss things around Batman and Robin because she's a huge Robin fan. There's a link to my channel if you haven't already subbed. If you have, thank you very much. And we will discuss the ongoing things. And Monkey, next time we talk, I got to talk to you about how Comicsgate relates to what happened to the Ralph retort. It's interesting.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Dork, you going to be having a stream anytime soon?
Maybe, like, if I look into things, see when everyone's free, I might have a stream. I also might get those articles we were just talking about and make a video.
Alrighty. And with that, guys, I will be on Lords of the Night tonight. What day is this?
Saturday.
Oh, it'll be on my channel night. Shit. So we'll be over on my channel at 9 o'clock, and then me and Satsu are going to be playing Dead Island. We're going to be giving away a copy of Dead Island tonight. Come over, hang out with us around 11:30. There are a little bit of rules, but it's not.
That's awesome. You guys are giving away games. Have you seen that? Like a strong reaction to that? Like more people showing up and stuff?
We have. We actually had more people on our Wednesday show than we've ever had the other day, and Wednesday's a hard day because people have to work the next day and stuff. But yeah, we had a pretty good turnout for that.
That's cool. That's a good idea. Like, I mean, who doesn't want a free game? That's sweet.
Well, somebody actually, Cryptic, mentioned that he had an extra copy of 7 Days to Die because of Humble Bundle. So I went over there, and it's actually a really good way to pick up cheap games that you can give out, and they're good games. And so, yeah, I started.
Oh man, did you not? Okay, we'll talk about that next time. Humble Bundle is under this kind of fire, and Short Fat Otaku found himself sort of backpedaling on this because apparently the company that does that supports the ACLU.
I don't care. They give me good games cheap.
What about free speech, monkey? The ACLU is not a fan anymore.
I'm a whore.
Well,
I'm a dirty little whore. There's your soundbite, guys. We'll see you tonight at 9, hopefully over on Lords of the Night. Oh, actually, here on Lords of the Night in about 3 hours. So, everybody, have a good dinner. Rest up. Be ready to come hang out. And hopefully my voice doesn't give out before then. Love you guys. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us. You guys are amazing. Love you. We'll see you in a little bit. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you later, everyone.
Oh, and thank you, Polly and Dork. I forgot to do that.
Thank you for having me on. Always appreciate it.
And we'll see you next time, guys.